Round 3, fight!
Before this episode, I need to give a little bit of a small update. So, I moved to my college very recently, so I'm still trying to find a way to record. The AC in my room is super loud, so I can't seem to record it, and I can't control the AC either. So, I'm trying to find a new place to record. So, while I get that sorted out, my mic quality is not going to be as good as it usually is, and you might hear a little bit of wind because I'm recording outside. Sorry about that. Anyways, on with the video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 136 of the Sun and Moon anime titled Rising Fire. There's more than one rival just dropped, and this episode will begin the end of the Gladion vs. Kiawe fight and end with the beginning of the Ash vs. Guzma fight. How did both those fights go? Well, let's find out. I'm going to try something a bit different for this episode. Usually I go over the episode scene by scene and then review the entire thing at once, but I realize that most of you probably watch the episode first, so I'm going to be just giving a plot synopsis of the episode. If you want a scene by scene breakdown, you can click the link in the description. I'll have it written down and, it'll have pictures and everything. I think it's going to be on my Amino, so that way I can spend more time on the review portion of these episode reviews, as well as get away with not using as much images so I can stay on the good side of ShowPro. That way they don't give me a second strike. In this episode, we continue with the battle between Kiawe and Gladion. Their Turtonator and Silvally respectively go at each other evenly for a while until a Cell Smash causes Kiawe to dodge a Crush Claw. He goes for a Z move, but Gladion reduces the effect of the attack by swapping his type memory before knocking out Turtonator and winning the battle. They both shake hands and say that now they're going to be rivals. Meanwhile, we see an infuriated Guzma and a concerned Plumeria, who shows us in a flashback that Guzma can't seem to win first place in battles and breaks every second or third place trophy he gets. Team Rocket are working on their mechs, and the robot Oranguru continue to try to distract the mother and son duo from noticing their absence. In the second battle of the episode, Ash uses Torracat against Guzma's Scizor and Golisopod, and KOs the Scizor when Golisopod uses Emergency Exit, causing Scizor to get hit by a full-powered Fire Blast, and the episode ends with Guzma yelling at Golisopod for running away, and he says that he will win. So, in the first battle, when I saw the way Gladion countered Inferno Overdrive, that infuriated me. Are you kidding me? So, if he can just toss any memory in the middle of battle to Silvally, then why should it ever lose? Are you about to get hit with the electric move? Just switch to a ground memory in the middle of battle. Oh, a dragon type Z move is being used by your opponent? Just switch to the fairy memory. Disregarding the fact that that's not how the memories work in the game at all, it feels super cheap. Just switch out its memory in the middle of battle to make it type resistant. Could they not have made Silvally just tank the Z move? Sure, it would have made Kiawe seem weaker, but if you're already going to have him lose to Gladion, what difference would it have made? The memory swap in the middle of battle is so arbitrary. It's not like Z moves where you know certain characters have certain Z moves, so you can prepare for them. He, and only he, has both this Pokemon and these type memories since they were made specifically for him. And apparently, he has all the type memories and can use them in the middle of battle anytime. If that's the case, can Ash just swap the Z move he has on hand whenever he wants? I assume that once you brought a specific Z move to battle, you were stuck with that, and you can't change it. But if you use this example here, Ash should just be able to start off with a Fire Z move, and if its Torracat goes down, oh that's okay, let me just switch to my Electric Z. You see how unfair and cheap that would be? This irked me more than Rowlet sleeping in the middle of battle ever did, because at least that was an honest mistake. Yeah, it sucked for Hal, but at no point did it feel like Ash used outside means to win. Sure, Rowlet was able to get away from a Sinister Arrow raid because of that outfit it had on, but again, that was just happenstance. This way is way more intentional because you just whoop, toss the memory there, and hey, would you look at that, I barely took any damage from the C move. That's stupid! And if you think that I'm overreacting, look at what happens next. The battle ends right after with a Crush Claw. he didn't even use multi-attack, the attack specifically made to be used for with the type memories, meaning that the type memory was just used as a way to get around the Z move. Are you kidding me? I know almost every battle has had Z moves be useless, but at least in the other ones, people countered Z moves using their own moves. Guzma used Liquidation, Lana used Oceanic Operetto, even Sophocles tried to use Wild Charge. This one, Gladio tossed an item to do so. Imagine if Ash just tossed some balloons at Pikachu when someone was about to use Tectonic Rage. Just avoid the entire move by grabbing onto balloons. People would be infuriated. But since Gladion is Mr. Edgelord Boy, everyone's gonna look at this and just praise him for it. Oh, he's a genius. While saying, oh, how cheap it is that Ash won because Rowlet slept. Whatever, man. I'm over it. I also love Kiawe after the battle taking the loss in stride and telling Gladion that he isn't just Ash's rival anymore, they're also rivals. This shows his maturity. He's always been the older brother to our hero's gang, so it's great to see that side of him brought up here, because it's something I feel gets lost quite a bit since he's so silly all the time, but it's good to see every now and then. I also love the flashback we see to Guzma's room having tons of broken second place trophies. It shows his insecurity on why he gets upset so easily. He can never seem to win first place, not in any Pokemon battles, which he claims he's the best at, and extension, probably not even in life. The reason he ran away was because he couldn't do Z moves, he felt inferior, and that feeling must be compounded by the fact that he can't seem to win first place. The broken trophies that he keeps are a reminder of him of his failure, and the fact that he kept all the broken pieces around instead of throwing them away shows that he cares about being first more than he lets on. Even the bruise that Plumeria gets is really just a representation, I think, of the hurt that Guzma feels and she feels for him. I think that's great writing for him. Also, cutting between Team Rocket making the plans for their mech and Beware continually wanting to get out of the pool is brilliant, because we all know what it's leading to. Eventually, they're going to get tired of the hot spring and come to get Team Rocket just as they finish making their ultimate mech. Even though we know the punchline to the joke, I think at least, the setup is done brilliantly to build anticipation to it. You know it's going to happen soon, but you don't know exactly when. That makes it an effective gag. The contrast between the silliness of the grunts and the seriousness of Guzma and Ash staring at each other also really helps build drama for the match. While Guzma sees Kukui and Ash is quiet, he isn't talking a lot, and this is really smart by the writers as is making for more compelling drama, as we can see Guzma and Plumeria's reaction. Guzma himself is tormenting himself by Ash not even saying anything, and Plumeria, especially looking concerned, builds the tension that she spoke about last episode. She knows Ash is strong, and she also sees Guzma being rattled by seeing Kukui and Ash. Just the facial reactions tell the story here, and I think that's something that I'm really digging about this. They're letting the silent moments be silent, and this is exactly what's required. You know it's going to result in Guzma blowing up during the battle. Just like the Team Rocket thing, it builds up anticipation, but unlike the Team Rocket thing, this is much more serious. Putting these segments back to back is great juxtaposition and writing to their part. Now, you know how I said that they let the silent moments be silent? I also like that they allow the slow moments to be slow. And this is exemplified, in my opinion, by the shot of everyone waiting on the matchup between Guzma and Ash. When the characters in the show are anticipating something, we as the audience are led to do the same thing. I do find it interesting, though, that they chose to separate Lana from the group at the beginning of the battle. We know it's just because she's someone who's already faced Guzma, and they wanted to highlight that, so maybe it's just to show the people who have lost to each of the current competitors, because the same way they show Hao, and even though Hao has met our gang, he's not sitting with them, even though in the previous series, he would have. I do find it fascinating that they chose to add a little detail, even if that doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. The Ash vs Guzma battle, I love this fight. Besides Ash seemingly having learned from both watching Guzma battle and his own experience facing him, he starts off with a long-range attack on Scizor, who he has seen as a master at close combat. It does do a U-turn and immediately bolts out of battle, but it's still a small detail that I like. When facing Guzma, he knows when to attack from a distance and when to close the gap. He goes for a lot of Fire Blast because he knows he can't win against Liquidation from close range, but he also goes in close when Guzma doesn't use Liquidation and uses Pin Missile, which Ash can take a little bit better. There's inconsistency where they don't show Flame Charge increasing Torracat's speed, because I remember in Gen 5, anytime Ash's Tepig would use it, they would always animate the boost it got. But here, they don't really mention it or show it, and that really sucks, because in my opinion, it would make the battle a little bit more interesting. Besides that, the fighting itself is pretty good. There's action going on, followed by bits of pauses, and the pauses aren't frequent enough that it interrupts the flow of battle when the action isn't too much that you get sick of it. I like it, it's a good balance. Guzma cracking is something I like even more. Like Primary has been hinting at, Guzma isn't this unbeatable guy. I like that the show has shown slowly at first, but more overtly over time, that he can be beaten. When he faced Ash for the first time, he got hit a couple times, but for the most part he dominated the fight. When he fought Alima, similar thing, he got hit a little bit more, but he still won the fight pretty handily. Then when facing Lana, he got closer to losing, but still won pretty handily. Now, he's lost his first Pokemon, and that's devastated him. Not just because he lost a Pokemon either. He seems more upset about the fact that Golisopod doesn't seem to want to listen to him. He says he caused Scizor to go down, which while it's true, is not something you should yell at in your Pokemon. He calls Golisopod a coward. Maybe he realizes his ability, maybe he doesn't, but either way, it's something that greatly upsets him, and we can tell by his interaction that he must have gotten a lot of those second place awards because this Golisopod used emergency exits in bad moments. Now that I think about it, having an emergency exit ability is perfect for a character like Guzma, who also ran away from his problem. It almost feels like when they were making Sun and Moon, they made emergency exit the ability just as they were thinking about what type of Pokemon should we give the character of Guzma. It does suck that Scizor got KO'd so quickly, but I don't mind it, since now we're probably going to see Guzma be a lot more tactical, since he knows he can't mess up, because he only has one Pokemon while Ash still has two. I can't wait to see what happens next episode. Overall, a thumbs up to this episode. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect episode because I'm still a little bit miffed about the whole type memory thing, but they go past that so quickly and the rest of the episode is so good that it's only a minor thing in the grand scheme of the episode. Check out the episode if you haven't already, I highly recommend it. The next episode will continue the battle between Guzma and Ash, and it looks like Ash will be bringing out Pikachu. Not only that, but the artwork and animation looks fantastic. I cannot wait for next episode. But anyways, that's it for my Pokemon Sun and Moon episode 136 review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. You can let me know your thoughts of the episode in the comments down below. What did you think of it? You can also follow me on Twitter at TheRealPdGaming, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.